Hey, lovely people, how are you? Yeah, quick revisit with the Reset Sniper hat on. Interesting times, interesting times. Yes, so not so long ago, we did a YouTube. We said it's 34 months from the beginning of an interest rate hike, and that it would be a very interesting October. That was in July for equities and overall talk of potential recessions and everything else. And here we are. I had another little anecdotal moment, and I want to pay tribute to Sovereign Man, that's Simon Black's crowd. It was his research that mentioned the 34 months, by the way. I was just repeating it. While I think I credited him with that, it's worth saying so again. Something else I want to tell you. It was really interesting. And again, Sovereign Man's mail came in at a very interesting point. So I got this email. And in it comes and it says all consumers live and die by its FICO score. This is very US. Your FICO score is very, very important. How good you are. A high score means you are very credit worthy. And at the same time that I was reading this particular article, something had happened on the same day to me that hadn't happened before. And I want to share this with you. And it's almost like one of those Freudian moments where you get the same things, the same signals tapping you on the shoulder at the exact same time. So here we are. The big gist of this email, without me sitting here and reading it out to you, if you want to read it in full, subscribe to Simon Black's Sovereign Man's mail. It's worthy for his free mails that come out. But the long and short of it is, what are they doing? They are, on your FICO score, taking everybody who is a bad payer and they are upping your FICO score. That's right. If you are a bad payer, they're upping your FICO score to help you get more credit more easily. So the guys that run FICO has decided, hey, guess what? If you've got bad credit, we're just going to pump your score and punish you a whole bunch less for the fact that you don't have a good score. Go out, spend bigger expenses, more scope, more freedom, and of course it'll come with a higher rate. And a higher rate is part of the problem because it improves the likelihood you won't be able to pay because it's a bigger, more aggressive form of tertiary extraction. So people overnight that have a history of not paying their bills will now be deemed more creditworthy, Simon points out. And that's going to be really, really interesting. And this is what happens at the end of credit cycle. You flush in the final little scrapes of the barrel. You start giving credit to people. You know the game's largely over and you're trying to wring that last bit of toothpaste out of the tube. You know, this is scraping the bottom of the barrel. And they say, what the hell? It's all going to go to hell in a handbag anyway. Let's just get him in and get a last little pump, scrape, bit of heat through the economy, bit of a push. And it's really ironic because guess what happened and arrived in my email that I never get? From a bank that I still have a banking relationship with. I've rejected every overture of a credit card. Bing! In my email box, one of these, what I'd call subprime type credit card offers to me. You see, I have a low credit score. I have no credit. No credit on anything. I own certain things that I want to have. They've all been paid for. Not even mortgage credit, no credit at all. And that probably means I have a low score, I'm a high risk. So I got this rather trivial amount credit balance offer coming through to me and 34.9%, wait for it, 34.9% average APR. Let me just stop for a minute and ask, where are all the central banks right now in terms of credit rates? Roundabout 1%, I think, in the US, 0.75 in the UK, all hovering well below the true inflation rate, which is the rate at which they destroy your currency. Inflation is not price increases, guys. It's the rate at which your currency gets destroyed, for which price increases are a symptom thereof. But anyway, that explanation aside, here we go. Here's someone telling me that there's organizations that have made it policy to flush out the final dirtiest rats in the ship to get access to credit and to start spending and go, go, go. And I even get, in a different part of the planet, not in the US, a subprime credit card offer, and I never get one. I never get one because I don't borrow. I'm not on the radar. Guess what? They had a go. They had a go. Just because I had a bank account there once, they had a go at trying to get me into a credit card. It's incredible. You can't make this stuff up. All this while, and I'm wondering if they've left it a little bit late, the DAX is in a head and shoulders. Yes, it made this target on our technical clip. Over here, had a pullback, a little bit of overperformance. Boom, head and shoulders, pulling into an inverted HVF or bespoke method. You can find out more about it. Guess what? Money will be made only on the short side now, guys. I can feel it in my bones for a while. And most traders don't know how to short. They don't know how to short. It's becoming the end of the game and people don't know how to short. And this is where the best money will be made. Our inverted HVF just made a number of second interim and a little wind up target and is heading for here, plus the head and shoulders target. That's just the beginning of a new cycle that can overperform to the downside on both. What's happening? Let's have a look at the Russell. Oh dear, it's literally dying back down. The US stock indices are also dying back down. We had a lot of setups looking like bearish setups on individual equities, and there are others. And of course, there's the indices themselves. Lots of things are moving in the market. You can see it coming and you can see it happening. What else do we have? What about the Standard & Poor's? Wow, look at that. Hold on a minute. So here we go, big rising wedge. This is from the beginning of the year, guys. Beginning 26th of January, that was your high, 286. You made a marginally higher high. It took you an entire gestation of a pregnancy to get there. That's right. You're looking at the better part, 9-10 months from January to get you to your high in September. And then what's happened? You've fallen out of that rising wedge and you're spilling bear flag over here and spilling a little bit deeper. This could be the beginning of something a lot bigger. You need to remember, how far have we come on borrowed debt fuel? How far truly have we come on borrowed debt fuel? Where are those lows of 2009? You've gone up in one of the longest bull markets, in one of the most destroyed economies that the average man in the street has not been able to participate in. And guess what? The heat is going out of the economy. The heat is going out of the economy, which is one of the reasons why I sense that the oil pulled back. This is going to be a shorter season. I'm not saying this is necessarily going to lead into the Great Reset. We don't know. It could. It could be a very rocky next 6 months, or it could blow off and base out and start climbing again. Most times people get excited. We thought there was a head and shoulders over there, for example. The market just turned head and tail and went. Why? Because they just can drop rates. They can keep dropping rates. But the problem now is they're so low. Yes, they've done a few increases, 0.25% here, 0.25 there. How far are we away from zero? We're still camping just above the zero interest rate environment. We are all the major first world economies are in a negative interest rate to their inflation rate, real rates. In other words, putting money in a bank has never been a guaranteed loser like it is at the moment. The rate at which your purchasing power is being eroded has never been higher compared to what you actually earn on your accounts. By the way, even though they may be 1%, they aren't paying you 1%. Don't be stupid. They're charging you 35% on your subprime credit card, and they'll pay you next to nothing. You won't get 0.1%. This is the environment you are in. These are your tertiary extractors. This is your cabal banking system that are trying to squeeze the final toothpaste out of the tube right here, right now, throwing credit at the bottom of the barrel that can't be trusted with their printed tertiary smart little bright, colorful smarties that they give you for being a good boy, and now they're going to love you a little bit and say you can have some credit. We don't want your printed up trash. We want our integrity. We don't want to support your debt-based Ponzi scheme that you're about to pull the plug on and reset for us. And guess what? There's corporates here, leveraged to the hilt. And you know what will happen with the banks? They've already shown you before. Too big to fail. We can't exist without a banking system. We will collateralize these debts and we'll pass it on for the future generations, etc., etc. It will be socialized onto you. They will retain the banks and socialize all the costs that only a few have benefited from onto you. The big short could be coming. It might just pass us by and just be another wobbly tremor. They've kept the music playing a lot longer than many of us have thought. But at some point, the music will stop. How are you in terms of your debt obligations? What would you do if interest rates moved so quickly through 5, 10, 15, 20%, bonds devalued so far, and all your credit cards were now charging you ridiculous costs? Your mortgages were charging you ridiculous costs. Do you think those home values would still be holding up when we go back to some form or semblance of normal interest rates? How do you think these corporations that have retired equity and borrowed from banks to buy their own stock up so that you can get a chart like that, how do you think they're going to fare when it is reset day? It may be the beginning, it may not. I can't tell you whether this will be the end for this big cycle, but there will be no normal interest rates again. I laugh at those that say we are seeing a transgenerational low in interest rates. Now we start the cycle up. My friend, you can't go much further than where we are already. Look what 1% has done. Look what 1% has done. Do you think you can handle 5%? Do you think you can have 6%? When 1% does this, your stock market will not be where it is now. Those that borrowed to buy stock will not be able to pay the interest. Do you know there's 14% of corporations that are still borrowing from banks to pay their dividends and even their own interest on their own existing loans? They're borrowing new money to pay interest and dividends. How's that even possible? You decide when the game is up for you. You don't have to participate in this Ponzi much longer. Be cautioned. Equity is a dangerous place. Property for now, certainly getting into it, is a dangerous place. Wait for post-reset. I don't think you have to wait too much longer, but we've said that before. If it hasn't happened by 2020, I don't know. But hey, we've said dates before. Well, I've heard many people say dates before. I thought it would have been over by now. But I don't think it can be too much longer. The game will reset. The politics have gone cranky. Everything is showing end of empire moments. It's time for you to just dust off that plan. Are you able? Do you have method? Do you have mindset? Do you have the markets to approach that will be there and set up for shorting? Do you know how? Do you have a community to work with? You should think about these things. It could be one of the most profitable times when everyone else, unfortunately, could be having a nightmare. Losing jobs, companies contracting. Got to be in early. There'll even come a point, I predict, where they won't allow shorting. If you aren't already short, you'll be forced to close. You'll only be allowed to close only. Those are the shorts I'm going to hold all the way. And it will come. We've seen it happen before. Okay, until we speak again, enjoy yourselves. 31st of October. Come and join us on Method. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. The formula for trading success and why shorting could be the thing you most need to learn to do. I'm Francis Hunt. I'm talking through my Reset Sniper hat. Good luck, and enjoy the fireworks. As I've said already, it's not a prediction. It may all blow over in a few days or weeks. The genie's been put back in the bottle more times than most of us could have guessed. But keep your eyes open, because one of these days that lightning strikes. Bye for now.